Once again, welcome. It's great to see so many of you, so many that come here to celebrate this great night. The news that, not only the news, but the reality that the Messiah has been born, the Messiah has come into our world. What's really great is, I guess I've been here for such a long time. There's so many of you that I know from the times like the... You all know the other priest over there with Father Kyle? That's Father Mark DeMott. When I was here, when I was as an associate, I think he was 13, a member of our parish. And now he's a priest for the Holy Cross. And so he's representing so many of you I can see out there, out in our assembly today, that I knew from 25 years ago or 16 years ago when I came back as your pastor. And some of you have gone off wherever life has called you, and you come back home. Just a wonderful, wonderful thing to see you and so many members of our community here. And as I begin my reflections, I want to call Mary and Joseph back up. Are they still awake? Okay. I haven't started preaching yet, so don't fall asleep just yet. Why don't you come up here and sit right next to me, okay? Why don't you have a seat right here, okay? All the children in the congregation, can you see them? Yes? No? What do you have to do to come to see them? You got to come closer? Sound like a good idea? Anybody that wants to come closer, come right up here like you did before Mass began. Come closer. Come closer. Because you got to help me with my homily. I was really sick and busy. I didn't write a homily. Well, yeah, I did. Look at this. There's a lot of you out there. I couldn't even see you. You're so short, hiding in the... But I can relate to that, okay? Look at all of you. Can you see Mary and Joseph now? Could you see them before? No. Why not? Because all these big people in front of you? Yeah. You can't see over them? Oh. I have another question now that you came closer. Imagine what Mary and Joseph, what would they have heard that night, the night Jesus was born? What do you think they would have heard? Would they have heard anything? That was Christmas, right? Who was around them? Angels? They would have heard the angels singing? Yeah, songs like Silent Night. They would have... Were there animals around them? You think they would have heard the animals? Yeah, animals are noisy. Come on, you're supposed to say the answer I want. What did Mary and Joseph see? You already said the animals, right? What did they see? You raise your hand. Okay. They saw Jesus, obviously, right? Jesus was born? They saw Jesus. Did they saw the people that were visiting them, like you said, angels? And shepherds? Okay. What did you think they felt? What did Mary and Joseph feel? What did they feel before they found a place to have the baby? Remember the story? They were worried, right? They were tired. Were they afraid? No. Joseph was afraid that Mary wouldn't have a place to have her baby, right? Then all those things changed. Look at Jesus is born. What are they feeling now? They're feeling joy. What else? Happiness. Love. Excuse me? You're feeling God? Glad. That's what you said, glad. They're happy, glad, they're feeling joy. Look at Jesus is there with them. What I want you to do is, as you're sitting here, you came closer, didn't you? You can see now, can't you? You can see Mary and Joseph. You can see what they heard or what they saw. And what they saw in Jesus, let me tell you one thing. If you don't remember anything else, they saw the love of God in Jesus. Imagine if you were Mary, like here. You would feel that love of God in your arms. Wouldn't that feel special? How would that make you feel to know that you had the love of God right in your arms? You'd be glad. Would everybody be glad? Of course. That would be the greatest thing ever, right? That is the greatest gift ever. To have God come from heaven so far away to come here. Can you see all of that? What? Because I want you to remember this, okay? Because there's a lot of exciting things you're going to do tonight and tomorrow, right? Get together with family, give presents, open presents. You're going to be around people that maybe extended family you haven't seen in a while. But remember what you see. What you see up here. You see Jesus. And remember what you feel. You feel that love of God. Is that love of God something you can feel, right? Is that love of God something you can bring with you? You can take back to your families? And you can remember a long time into the future, like tomorrow? Yeah? You can remember tomorrow that it's the love of God that you're receiving and the love of God that you're giving. Isn't that the greatest gift? It is. Okay. I'm going to have you all go back right now. Because now I got to talk to myself and the big kids, all right? Okay. Thanks for coming up. You're welcome. And Mary and Joseph, you can go back with your mom and dad. Isn't it great when you have children, they do your homily for you? Well, mostly. There's a few other things I want to mention. And it is true, I've been a little bit under the weather, so I need my notes for the rest of it. But how many of you, if I called you up right now and have you sit on the floor, would many of you do that? Maybe one just to make a point, right? Father said, no, I'm going to show him that I can do it. What about the invitation that we have to draw closer to Jesus? Draw closer to God? Would we do that? Or maybe another way of saying that, what's keeping us from doing it? Are we growing closer to God? Have we done so in this past year since last Christmas? I just like to use an analogy. I was kind of picking on Father Mark because I asked him how old he was when I first got here, 25 years ago, so now we know how old he is. I'm going to use an image that he and I and Sonia, she's out here too, we went to World Youth Day back in 1993 when I was a new associate. And it's all exciting, but there's an image that I want to just kind of develop a little bit that was probably where you or I may be in a relationship to God. And that was when we were out at this huge park for the Mass, the Papal Mass. St. Pope John Paul II was there, and I don't know, 1 million people? There were a lot of people. And we were so close to the Pope, he was like a dot somewhere out there. I mean, he might as well been out in Lake Michigan. He was so far away. Yeah, there were screens that brought him closer to us. But yet we could barely see him. He was a dot. It was a wonderful experience. I'm not putting it down. But it's that sense that I described with the children. Before I called them closer to see Mary and Joseph, they felt, and probably still feel right now as I'm talking, a little lost in the crowd. They can't see what's going on. They can't access. There's a lack of nearness. And that can be true with us in our relationship to what we celebrate tonight. We can have that sense that maybe we're just lost in the crowd, that there's the sea of heads in front of us. And whatever it may be, We have that desire to grow closer. We want to, but it seems we don't know how to do it, or maybe it's just we never get around to doing it. But what I want to say to us today is, and what happens in the celebration when we come together to celebrate liturgy, it happens every time we gather for Eucharist, is that God is reaching across time, history, space. He's making himself present right here and right now. And so what happened 2,000 years ago when Jesus was born in the manger? That Jesus is reaching out to us today as we gather to celebrate that birth, but also with that same invitation to us, to you and to me, because I need this invitation too. Come closer, draw near. As those children did, as they drew near to see what Mary and Joseph were all about, it changed them. There was something there for them. They could relate to it. They could access at least the representatives of Mary and Joseph. But also in our lives, when we draw near to Jesus, we can access something. We can become closer to the one who loves us. And as we do so, you know what happens? I mean, this is the one thing I didn't share with the children, because every other answer they had is correct and is a promise of God to us. The joy, the peace, the love that's there. But there's also one other aspect. And that other aspect is we draw closer to Jesus. We can see our better selves. We can see the better version of ourselves. As we draw close to the Prince of Peace, we ourselves have access. We ourselves have that closeness and that nearness and can receive that gift of peace. When we draw close to the one who has infinite love, that love comes to us, touches our hearts, touches our lives, and utterly has the potential, the possibility to transform us forever. That's the invitation of Jesus to you and to me this Christmas. Wherever we may be in the front row, or maybe we are standing in the back. Not that, this is a judgment here. It's just there's not enough chairs, there's enough places in our church this evening. But wherever you may feel that you are in the crowd is what I want to say. Is Christ is calling each and every one of us to take that step, to draw closer to him. Let ourselves be transformed in that love. And when I said about judgment, it's absolutely true. Because wherever we are on our journeys of faith, wherever we are, and that's something that only you and God know, it is there that God tonight reaches out to you and touches you, reaches out to you and invites you, reaches out and says, I have something special for you. That same gift of his love, his peace, his presence that broke through the darkness of our world 2,000 years ago continues to happen tonight if we allow ourselves to draw near. Sometimes it seems impossible. I mean, when I was at the Papal Mass in Denver on World Youth Day, I probably could have done a lot of work to cut to the front of the crowd, but I bet you anything they wouldn't have let me up on the altar. Security would have got me. But there could be many obstacles in life, but what it does call forth from us is, what will we do? What can we commit ourselves to doing? First and foremost, this night, Christ who is here, Christ who is coming, Christ who wishes to offer to you in a new way the newness of his life and love. Let us be open to receiving that. What are the things in the days as we celebrate Christmas with our family, with our friends, in our parishes? How can we be open to that gift of renewing that faith? Renewing that opportunity for God to come to us in a new way, and allowing ourselves to grow in a new way in that closeness. So a couple of things I'd just like to mention here at St. Francis de Sales Parish. An opportunity that we're going to have for us. We have many opportunities But one opportunity may be for yourself or perhaps somebody you know. Perhaps for yourself that maybe feels a bit isolated, disconnected from our parish. Maybe you know somebody that same way. That it's just whatever's happened in life, there's that disconnection. What do we do with that? Well, we'd like to have this opportunity, and there's going to be a bookmark that it's going to be in a gift that we're going to give you at the end of Mass that talks about this event that we're holding on January 13th in the afternoon, Sunday afternoon. And it's the words that I used earlier, to becoming the best version of yourself. That's what Christ wants for us. It's an opportunity to come together, no commitments, no signing any papers, okay? But just coming and seeing, to come and see. But so consider that, pray about that. But as we gather tonight, this Christmas, that is the gift of the incarnation, the gift of God becoming human for us, so that we can become who we were created to be, that we can grow into that stature of Christ, imitating his love, his peace. That's the invitation for us, for God, from God to us today. So as we gather the birth of our Savior, the joy, the peace, the love that the children so intelligently shared with us their answers. That gift is theirs, that gift